We have a special guest for today. Some of you know Rebecca Heyliger already. Those that don't, she's been swimming with us since she was 9 years old. She's competing and training at USC, which is Southern California, with top 5 university for swimming. And she's just graduated while she's still moving towards getting her master's degree. She's an elite athlete for Bermuda, just competed at World Championships over the summer. And I had wanted her to come and talk to you guys specifically about balancing the workload in swimming with the workload in the classroom, because she's done a really good job of that through her entire swim career, from the time she was 9 years old all the way up to 21 years old. So she has the perfect answers for you guys for what it's like to have to go to training, be tired, and still have to get the good grades. Okay, so Rebecca.
Okay, so I was gonna start off with like some grades I got, but that's not really important. I think the first thing to start off with is expectations. My parents have always had really high expectations of me. I know Richard and Ben and any other coach has high expectations of you, but it's most important to have high expectations for yourself. So when I go into class, I don't go in thinking, oh, I need to do this just to pass. You should set a goal for yourself. You shouldn't go in thinking, oh, like I just need a 70 to pass the class. You should be going, oh, I need a 95 to get an A. Or if you think that an A might be a little bit out of your reach, then, oh, I need a 90 for a B+. So it's really important to have high expectations for yourself and set goals. I know that I've heard some swimmers talking about like mock exams. They're like, oh, I'm just gonna about pass. You really should be setting high goals for yourself, because if you don't set a goal, then you really aren't going for anything, and you don't have anything to try and achieve. I think another important thing is to have friends with similar expectations as you did. I've always had a friend in my class, a best friend in every class I've had, in the higher level classes I have, working ahead. You should be friends with people who understand that you're committed to school and committed to swimming as well. I know that my friends have always understood if I couldn't make it somewhere because I had practice, or because I needed to rest, or because I was studying. And you'll find out who your real friends are, because those will be the ones that understand that you have made a commitment to something outside of partying or going to sleepovers or playing video games, and they know that you're really trying to get somewhere. I know Ben said I'm in grad school and that I'm doing great, but what I've noticed is that my friends, I envy them. I want to be more like them. Like, it sounds like I'm doing great, but all my friends they all have jobs, they've all had internships every summer, so you should really surround yourself with the type of people that are going places just like you want to go places. Don't surround yourself with people who will be like, oh, it's lame that you're practicing, oh, it's lame that you're studying, because they're not trying to get to the same place you are, and they don't have the same goals you are. Another thing, just going off social activities, yeah, you're young, you should be hanging out with your friends, you should do sleepovers, but sleepovers aren't going to take you places. They'll build friendships, and you have plenty of time on Saturdays for sleepovers. You're with your friends all day during the week, so you can spare, you know, your Saturday mornings, your Friday nights to rest and train. Swimming will take you a lot of places. I know my favorite trips have been trips, especially with Sharpie, who's also in grad school now, and she swam all through college. Like, I've been to, one of my favorite trips was India, which was just with Pooh and Ben and Julian. Been to Mexico, and most of the times I've traveled has been because of swimming or because of school. I've also been able to go to Costa Rica for school for Spanish, so I haven't traveled anywhere except Florida just for fun with my friends, you know? So swimming in school will take you a lot more places than just hang out with your friends will. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't hang out with your friends. You should definitely have a social life. When you're young, it's important to have a social life, because you will get older and you will get more responsibilities and you will have less time to hang out with your friends. So you definitely should hang out with your friends. Don't become that person who only studies, who only swims, and doesn't have any friends. because friends really are important, and they do influence your life, and they do help you build character, and it's important to go through things with friends. But you should have a good balance between swimming, school, and friends. One of the reasons I picked USC is because it is a good balance of school. It's a top 25 school in America. Swimming, it's D1. Both the men and women's teams are ranked top 5 in the US. And partying, it's also a top 5 ranked partying school. So I'll admit, my freshman year, I had my fun. I swam with the pro team, and I made the dean's list. So it's all possible to do all three. Don't do well for others, but ultimately, your success, I mean, your life's affected by your success. Other people, your teachers, your parents, your friends that want you to do well, but if you do bad, nothing bad's going to happen to them. It's only going to be to you, and if you do well, something good's going to happen to you. Outside of school, definitely keep doing well with swimming. I think swimming's a great sport. It teaches you dedication and discipline, and that definitely transfers to the classroom. I think if I didn't do swimming growing up, when I got to college, I would be like a lot of other kids at my college who just go out and party all the time, and then they don't really have structure to your life. Structure gives you swimming. Right now, I train 20 hours a week. I go to class 16 hours a week. I nap for an hour every day, and I get my homework done. And without that structure, I don't know how I would get everything done. Getting things done is also something that depends on the person that you are. I like to get everything done at once, all my homework done on like a Sunday or Wednesday afternoon, and I'll go back a couple days later and look back at it. That's a problem I definitely had going up through high school. I would get everything done, and then I wouldn't go back and look at it. I think it's really important to go back and look at things. I know you guys are busy with swimming and school and your friends, but just because you have it done doesn't mean it's the best that it can be. I think that I probably would have gotten even better grades if I had gone back and double checked things. So I think it is definitely beneficial to go back and take that extra minute, well, extra hour or so to look back at all your homework. You may be like, yes, I'm done, I did it. But if you go back and look, it could be better, and you could go up a grade just by doing a double check. As far as dealing with other people who aren't in the same position as you, that same girl who would get $50 for every B would complain and cry every day about not having time to study. And you in your mind should, if you hear someone like that, you know that you probably have less time than them, and they're complaining, so why don't you outperform them? Complaining doesn't get you anywhere. Crying doesn't get you anywhere. Not to say that you can't cry sometimes. Everybody needs a good cry. But it'd be much better to use that energy that you're using on complaining and crying and put it into your work. You can come to school the next day and be like, oh, you didn't have time? Well, I had half the time you had. I got an A, you got a C, you know? I mean, we're athletes, we're competitors. There's nothing wrong with being competitive in the classroom too. Why not transfer that over? My coach at school, you guys are all student athletes, so student comes first. So that's really important. If you feel that you absolutely need to take some time off for swimming to study, then do it. But that means you should be studying, not playing video games or napping or sleeping. If you're gonna take time off from swimming, then you should be using it productively. Student athlete definitely comes first. My program, we're a men's and women's team, which is combined, which makes it really fun. There's lots of characters, so I'm really lucky for that, but our team has the highest team GPA out of any sports at school. So swimmers are smart people. You have to be calculated when you swim, and you should definitely use that intelligence in the pool and outside the pool. Growing up, I know all the swimmers I swam with were really smart. I don't see why you guys shouldn't be really smart. I mean, swimming gives you all the tools to be successful. The coaches give you tools to be successful. They understand, we have a great set of coaches. They understand how important academics is. So I think it's absolutely possible to commit yourself to the pool and commit yourself to school as well, and have a social life. I had lots of friends growing up. I am so happy for my childhood. I had fun. I went out, I did everything that teenagers do, and I still made it to SC. I still got all the grades I wanted. I don't regret missing any sleepovers or any parties. Like, if I had gone to that sleepover, maybe I wouldn't have gone to India. So, I mean, I would much rather go to India than go to a sleepover that I can go to any Saturday night when I don't have practice. But at the same time, I can think of only a few instances I took off practice. I took practice off to go to prom. I think that's okay. You have one prom. Well, you might have a couple, depending. Did I miss any other practice? I can't think of many times that I missed practice for a social event. Waking up in the morning, I mean, everybody wakes up and sometimes you're like, I don't want to go to practice. And this morning I woke up and said, I don't want to go to practice. And I texted Ben. I was like, Ben, I don't want to go to practice. But I come anyways because I know if I don't come, I just lost 2 hours of swimming. And if I did that in college, I'd get kicked off the team. So don't make excuses for not coming to practice. Even if you're sick, I personally, unless you're like in bed dying, I know that swimming makes me feel better. If I have a cold, it gets it all out. Exercise is good for you. Yeah, don't make excuses for missing practice. You've committed yourself to the team. You've told your coaches that you committed yourself to the team. You told your team that you committed yourself to the team. Your parents are paying for you to be committed to a team. So why waste that practice? Why waste it sleeping? You sleep half your life anyways. So, yeah, go to practice.
Some of the conversations that made us decide to have this talk were the guys that are preparing for GCSEs are talking about missing practice because they need to study, when this will probably be the first time that they're studying.
Yeah.
Where you need to schedule your life to be successful. You didn't get there by cramming, you got there by preparing. So give them an idea of how that preparation works, because you got young guys that need to be thinking about it, and these guys that have probably missed the boat a little bit need to be able to figure it out.
I don't know if you have study leave yet, but if you don't, it's still totally possible. You should start studying. If you don't have study leave, at least 2 weeks out, since you have less time. If you do have study leave, you should schedule your day during study leave to study. That's what it's for. It's created for studying. It's not created for playing video games. It's not created for hanging out with your friends. It's for studying. During my finals week, I would get up early. I would go have breakfast around 7. I would study after breakfast until practice at 2. I would swim for 2 hours. I would go lift, and then I would relax because I felt like I got a great amount of studying in from 8 to 2. Solid studying, getting things done. You may want to schedule it differently with more breaks. I don't know if you could study for that long without getting distracted, but you should definitely set aside, if you're planning to study on a day where you don't have class, you should set aside 6 hours of studying because you would have been in class for 6 hours anyways. And if you do have class, then you should set aside at least 2 hours for studying every day if you are in class during the whole day. And put the video games away.
Swimmers have, like most generally, swimmers have good time management appreciation. So if you have 2 hours in a day to study, that's all you have. That's the only time you have to do it, because you know you have other commitments, whether it's lifting, whether it's training, whether it's you have to come home and you have dinner with your family or something. What we have is the pressure to perform when we have the time. So you have 2 hours, that's all you have to do, so you have to get it done. Kind of like little time for procrastination.
Yeah.
So you have to use your time wisely, but also if you're kind of visual or you like to structure your day, I recommend a diary, and every day when you wake up, or maybe for the week, plan your day out, and you can literally write it. So 8 to 2 study, or 8 to 10 math, 10 to 12 English, break lunch, 1 to 2 geography, swim, dinner, and then, you know, so you can then crossing it off or checking it off also gives you that sense of satisfaction when you've accomplished it. Or if you haven't done it, start it, set it in your next day. So it helps you keep track of what you have to do or what you have done.
I know most people on my team do that. I do that. My whole semester is planned out. I do it first week of school. Yeah.
And that works at all levels, right?
Yeah. Especially now, you have more free time. You may think you don't have time, but you have so much free time. So much free time. Trust me. Sharpie and I both know, like, 20-page papers don't write themselves. You have a lot of free time.